Even all night, make you go crazy, can make you start to yawn, can make you grab the microphone and turn the party on. But dance all day and even all night. I can dance all day and even all night.
Yo, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Yo, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready?
And it is Monday. I am with Coach Drayton, and I am happy to say dogs win.
Yes, sir. Mondays are always good after a win.
Yes, sir, no doubt about it. And the Citadel, of course, begins the season with a win, get the tough times behind them, and now start this season with high hopes. And, hey, look, you build it a brick at a time like you always do and just keep pounding. But This is presented by Cutwater Spirits. We are live from Over the Horizon Brewing, and we're typically going to be spending a lot of Mondays here throughout football. So I think the exception of one where they had a prior commitment or something. We're going to be here a lot.
Absolutely. We're excited to be here. These guys do a fabulous job for us. And if you haven't had the PBJ yet, you better get down here and you better get you a pizza. I'm just telling you, it is unbelievable.
You are hearing it from the coach himself, who is 1-0, by the way. Let's unpack this game, shall we? Obviously, a complete story of two halves in so many respects. Early in the game, it seemed as though you guys were feeling your way into it a little bit offensively. They hit some big plays on you, and it kind of stretched out a little bit. Didn't look good.
Yeah, I tell you, there is a tale of two halves, but there is another story behind it. I would not tell this story if we did not win the ball game because it would look like sour grapes or excuses.
I got you.
But the truth of the matter is this. After our first drive, we had no sideline communication, the communication that you get from the press box to the field. So we went blind. Our guys did a great job of not panicking. We just tried to weather the storm. We called the game from the field. And for those of you who are not football heads, so to speak, we rely on intelligence, no different than our military. It's sort of like satellites that give you information. We were not able to get that information first half because of our difficulties. So we get to halftime, we make some adjustments, we pull our guys out of the press box, and actually we put coaches in the stands, in the visitor stands, and that was really eventful. Where we had a few coaches, parents and fans was asking, "Hey, you should run this play." I think one guy took a drink out of our offensive coordinator's water bottle.
Wow!
But it was exciting, and that's football. So now we're able to be on the field, make in-game corrections, in-game checks. From our vantage point. So it was definitely a trial, but we stuck together and we were able to overcome it.
So was it a technical issue with equipment, basically? And I've always believed in, you hear all the stories with the Al Davis paranoia and stuff going way back. But don't teams travel essentially their own comms for these things?
Absolutely, yes. I don't want to put it on any one entity. I just want to say that it went out. We had no communication. Our coaches pulled together. Our players pulled together. Matter of fact, offensively in that first half, when we did not have any communication, we had several coaches to actually call plays. JB actually called his own plays as well, which takes us back to the days when we were playing football. It was an experience to have.
There's no question, too, that headset communication has been a big part of football in essentially all levels now for years and years and years. And to go through a half without, obviously they got the situation rectified at the half or something, right?
Yes. Well, we had a plan coming out of half. That's when we placed our coaches in the visitor stands. And it was going good through the middle of the third quarter. And then those systems went down on us as well. So at that point, we brought our coaches. We placed them strategically along the sideline. We gave them a singular focus to look at one entity, and then you get that information back to the coordinator, and then the coordinator is able to make a call. It was a total group effort. Coach Coaxum, our special teams coordinator, and myself, we've coached on offense and defense, so we were on both sides of the ball. I'm just so excited for our coaching staff that they had to experience that. Things that most people don't know, at the FCS level, now we have iPads.
Right.
And we don't currently have them, but our opponent on Saturday did, where they're able to look at the film instantly. So you're able to see where a ball's hitting. Is it hitting in A gap? Is it hitting in B gap? Where the days when we grew up, you had to train your eyes as a coach to see a big picture and then take that information and make a correction. Well, now these guys, it's like playing video games. They just look at the iPad and they can make an adjustment. So we went back to coaching 101. Vince Lombardi would have been proud. Willie Jeffries would have been proud. Eddie Robinson would have been proud. It was a good moment.
So how do you address this dynamic while this is going on? Once you huddle all your coaches, okay, you go to the bottle cap. You know what I mean? Did you basically hand signals? You wave your hands twice?
Yes, well, we definitely have hand signals. I believe in verbal and visual communication. So in addition to that, we just hit each coach their side of the ball, and they did a good job. They galvanized. They came together. They were ready for the moment, and they handled it themselves. So I was just pleased. And the kids didn't panic. I shouldn't call them kids, young men. The young men didn't panic. They understood what the task was at hand. They understood the difficulty, and we were able to come out on top.
Coach Gabe kind of played a little cat and mouse with his quarterback situation did you have a gut feeling one way or the other about that, or did you just basically design a game plan defensively that is going to attack either one of them? Obviously, in the age of film, you see a lot of both.
Yes, our defensive coordinator, Raleigh Jackson, prepared for both, and that's what you have to do. Yeah, you never know, because what happens if that starter gets hurt?
Right.
You're going to play against the other guy anyway. So when we devise our game plans, we try to cover all our bases. We try to eliminate the blind spots in the hidden doors.
There's a part in what I do, we go back through the recordings of these games because we use a lot of that content for various promos and things like that. And there's a point, 10:25 to go in the third, I think it was, still pretty early in the second half, where that's the point where the game turned, how it seemed to us. And one of the things I think that stood out the most was the element in the second half of the complementary football. Each side pulling the rope, and you could see they were into it and pulling that rope together.
Absolutely. Preseason for us, we wanted to spend more time on the muscle in between the ears, mindset. Every day we had some type of mindset activity, some type of mindset thought. That was very important for us, and it showed to be beneficial, during the game when we had that adversity. We never once wavered. I will tell you, no one on our sideline at any point in time thought we were going to lose that ball game.
It's amazing when you go through a game, you typically, if you're listening to a broadcast of a game, you're obviously going to hear certain names the most. That's just the nature of but going back through it, so many guys, so many names made plays in this one.
Absolutely. So it was our goal, and it was by design. We wanted to play multiple people. Charleston's hot. The elements can be very vicious. So it has always been our goal to be the most conditioned team. And part of being a conditioned team is rotating. Allowing a lot of people to play, especially early on. And that's what we did. We were able to spread out the reps, and it helped us out down the stretch. I believe that last offensive drive, they had 4 guys to go down with muscle cramps.
Yeah, and there was really a point in the second half, obviously, where your O-line and some of those, your trench warfare guys on both sides really apparently were wearing them down. And that goes back a little bit to what we talked to Coach Varga about last week when Joe was sitting here.
Absolutely. So we had keys to victory. The first key to victory was the ball. The ball is life. We have to protect and secure the ball on offense. On defense, we want to eradicate or extract the ball. The second is very simple. Eliminate sins. So eliminate those things, those self-inflicted negatives that can keep you from winning. So we wanted to eliminate those. We knew we would have combative penalties. You're going to get a holding call when a guy's trying hard. So we wanted to eliminate those. And then last but not least, it was real simple. Stick together. Those were our 3 goals. We matched our 3 goals, and it equaled a victory.
So Lee Glaze was, talking about the fact that after the game you had said, something happened, I can't say it here, or something like that. You're not going to believe this. He and I were joking this afternoon. Hey, I got an email here. Lee from Sumter asks, what was – a lot of people have reached out to both of us. What was that?
Yeah, it was exactly what I just told you. We didn't have communication. We called the game blind.
Wow.
So, it's a testament to our coaches. And it's a testament to our coaches' families as well, because we spend so much time together. And, I always think about the wives and the kids, because their daddies they're hanging out with me. And we're watching film and we're spending time together. And when you're that tight, when you're that close, it allows you to flourish in moments of adversity, and that's what happened.
You were talking in your presser today about some guys that stood out for you that really made big plays. I'll give you the opportunity here in this radio audience to do the same.
Absolutely. Let's talk defensively. We had 3 young men who probably made the biggest plays of the night. Devonye Pettis. He played as a true freshman last year. He's a true sophomore this year. He's the one that forced the fumble. Then we had Chris Benton, who was a redshirt freshman. He's the guy that recovered the fumble to give us the ball back. And then last but not least, a true sophomore who played as a true freshman last year, Bradley Jones, who happens to be one of the fastest men in the Southern Conference. We're going to have a special guest tonight, Coach Chris Cutt, our track coach.
Yep.
He's worked with Bradley, and the way Bradley shot out of the blocks to block that field goal, it's a testament to Coach Cutt and what he does. We haven't blocked a field goal since 2021 versus Mercer.
Yeah, just a fantastic game the way all of that turned. Was there a specific sequence? I mean, you again had told Lee at the half what your recipe was, and obviously you often will hear that recipe. It's because there's a lot of football 101 in it. But the truth of the matter is that, yeah, you spotted on that score, but it seemed like it just flipped the switch from there, and you basically took the game over.
We never wavered. It was so funny. What I told Lee at halftime is the exact same thing I told the team. I told the team we're going to kick off. We're going to force them to punt. We're going to get the ball on offense. We're going to go down and score, and then we're going to wash and repeat that until the last seconds of the clock run off, and we're going to be on top.
Well, coming up, you got South Carolina State here. It's Hall of Fame week at the Citadel. There's going to be a lot of royalty in the area this weekend now, this whole week.
Yes.
And obviously we'll talk a lot about that. We'll set the stage, too, for South Carolina State, who you took on last year, a program you not only know very well, but you're very connected to over the years. We'll talk a little bit about this ball game. And we also got a couple of tickets to that game that we'll give away on hand here. We are live again at Over the Horizon Brewing. We are right here at 2200 Harriet Street, really right off of I-26. And we're with Coach Drayton. We're recapping a 22-21 come-from-behind win at Charleston Southern to open the season, thus ending the tough year a year ago and off to a 1-0 start and taking dead aim at 2-0.
I love it.
All right, back with more after this. You're listening to the Citadel Bulldogs Radio Network.
Yo, are you ready for this? 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 Are you ready? Are you ready for this? I run the place, I run the space, I run the scene that light up your face. I run the place, I run the space, I run the scene. Run the place, run the space, I run the scene that light up your face. I run the place, I run the space, I run the scene. Yo, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Yo, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this?
Dance all day and even all night. Yo, dance all day and even all night. Dance all day and even all night. Yo, dance all day and even all night. Make you go crazy, can make you start to yawn, can make you grab the microphone and turn the party on. But dance all day and even all night. I can dance all day and even all night.
Yo, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Yo, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready?
grab the microphone and turn the party on. But dance all day and even all night. I dance all day and even all night.
Yo, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready?
This is edition 2 of Beyond the Barracks, and we are live from Over the Horizon Brewing. I'm Brian Giffen, the radio voice of the Citadel, and I'm with the head football coach at the Citadel, Maurice Drayton, as we continue to enjoy in the aftermath of a 22-21 come-from-behind win at Charleston Southern to open the season. There were so many things to unpack in that game. We didn't get to them in the opening segment, but just a lot of guys to be proud of, and really a lot of, again, everybody pulling the rope in there that had to make you really happy.
Absolutely. There's so many people to thank, but we definitely want to thank our athletic director, Mike Capaccio, Miss Joni Stevens, who's working in compliance and has to do all the paperwork to make sure that our guys are eligible. But not only that, the volleyball team, soccer team, the track team, baseball team, tennis team, cheerleading, rifle. You know, that athletic department is sticking together. Wrestling, my favorite sport. But basketball as well. Basketball, they were on the sideline. They were ripping and running and jumping. And, you know, I can't thank Ed enough. He has been a big, big supporter of us and what we're doing. And we just want to say thank you to those sports.
There's a uniqueness, I think, about the Citadel in that regard anyway. And obviously I've spent the last year now observing and learning it and trying to assimilate to it. But to be honest, the loyalty to the Citadel is one of the things that really stands out as somebody who's made other stops, college football included, along the way. Absolutely,
and proof of that is some of our loyal fans that are here tonight. We thank you for being here. We can't do it without you. So we're in this thing together, and that's one thing we know. That's we stick together.
Lee Glaze repeatedly made the point, and it was – as the second half went along, you know, in the dynamics of what we're doing, you can hear all the crowd noise now coming from the other side. And Lee's making the point of how passionate and how everybody just kind of built this crescendo of energy that was behind you. And it's inspiring now when you get to watch that.
Absolutely, and the guys could feel it. They could hear it. They could taste it. They could touch it. They could smell it, and it's infectious. So we're just so thankful to our loyal fans, to those who stuck with us through and through.
I've always found it over the years to be particularly impressive when you're with a team and your team plays well enough that you actually make that happen in another stadium where you're kind of out-noising them, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. We're excited about that. I mean, man, any time you can get that, you have a chance.
Well, obviously a lot of eyes on, and deservedly so, on Jonathan Bennett, and he turned in a really good performance for you. Very balanced, kind of helped beat people with his feet, beat people with his arms, was a leader out there, and he was as vocal as anybody on the sideline when it was 21-3.
Absolutely, and he is as good as advertised. What we've been talking about through the season. We were balanced. We rushed for 190 yards. We passed for 170. That's good. We had 20 first downs, 12 explosive plays. But here's the tell of the tape, the tell of the two halves. We were 1 of 6 on third down in the first half.
Right.
The second half, we went 6 of 7 on third down, and we converted on fourth down. So it's amazing. From one half to the next, how we improved.
That sequence at the end of the game where even though they start on the 10-yard line after the penalty, you know how this is going to go. You're fully prepared for it. And sure enough, I mean, there they are in position to kick it and win the game. But in the end, in a sport that always requires you make one more play or one less mistake than the other guy, this time you guys got it done.
Let me give you some insight. So, it was 4th and 16. We knew the line of demarcation was 31-yard line to have a field goal attempt. I was on the phone with one of my good friends, a guy named Joe Witt Jr. He is the defensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders. This was on Thursday. He said, hey, Mo, I have a coverage for you. I have a defense for you that you guys need to institute for gotta-have-it situations. And because of our schedule at the Citadel, because of what we go through, I mentioned it to our defensive coordinator, Coach Jackson. We wanted to implement it,
Right.
and we didn't get a chance to do it. And when we're in that moment, I said, oh, my goodness, this is what – this would have been perfect for what I was talking about with Coach Witt. Make a long story short, we survived it anyway. But you better believe on yesterday, we instituted that coverage and that defense for that situation.
It'll be an interesting dynamic to watch. And it just had that feel once you guys took the lead. You knew the ball game wasn't over. And honestly, for both sides, and we were as biased as anybody there, but for both sides, what an entertaining football game and a sellout crowd for a small venue, granted, but a sellout crowd and a great atmosphere.
Absolutely. I do want to digress just briefly.
Sure.
How about this? Because I want to explain this rule to the fans. So part of this radio show, I want to talk about rules and fouls and things of that nature so the fans understand what's happening. So when we were going in to score and Jonathan Bennett's helmet came off right before the 2-minute mark, a lot of people were wondering what's going on, what's going on. Well, anytime your helmet comes off, you have to leave the field of play for one play, and then you can come back in. Well, I looked at the clock. It went to the 2-minute warning. Now, I know the rule. One thing I do, I study the rules, but I wanted to see if the officials knew the rule. So once it got to 2 minutes, I said, Mr. Official, since we hit a 2-minute warning, that's like a timeout, can Jonathan come back in? I knew the answer to the question. He got it right. He said, no, he can't come in. I said, okay, not a problem. So I waited till we went back out. We were going to put Dustin out there. We called a timeout. You call a timeout, now he's allowed to come back in. That's why you will always see us. Those timeouts are precious.
Right.
They're like gold. We'll try to always hold on to those for situations like that and to avoid 10-second runoffs. And we'll get into that as the season goes on. I love to explain the rules.
Yeah, to be honest, timeouts played a huge factor in the second half of this game, and it really hamstrung them. Big issue was they had to use one there in the first minute of the third quarter. And then there was one sequence where it seemed like you guys kind of scrambled around it and kind of made them burn one, too.
Absolutely. It was after we scored. They didn't know if we were going to kick a PAT or go for two. So we went for two. I don't think he liked he wasn't prepared for it, so he banged the timeout, and we made him burn one.
Yeah.
And that's the game inside the game.
Right.
That's what I was able to learn, being at that, at the higher level.
Sometimes, simple as some things are, it's fascinating when you understand all these little dynamics like that go into – because let's face it, once you get to where it's a business, it is a win business. And competitive people, that's just the nature of it. I mean, it burns in you to go win.
Absolutely. Well, you have to win.
Right.
If we don't, as much as the Citadel faithful love me,
right,
they're going to put a for sale sign in front of my house, and they're going to run me out of town and say, oh, Mo, he was a good guy, but he's got to go.
But it is fascinating. I mean, and you think about this, some of the stuff that's happened in Major League Baseball, one thing or the other, but between eye signal, this, that stuff, I mean, there's just so much more to it in terms of scouting people than I think people realize, because a lot of times it's about behavioral study as much as anything, too.
You are absolutely correct. It's funny that you said that. I don't want to give the answers to the test, but I noticed some of our hand signals, some of the things we did on the sideline. If I was the opposing coach, I would be able to pick up on and use it against us. So that was part of yesterday. Yes, we worked on Sunday, but that was part of it where we have to refresh our hand signals. We have to make sure that your body mechanic doesn't get in a rhythm where somebody's able to read something and be able to gain a bead on you. So that was our self-study.
So what are your thoughts as we turn the page a little bit, and we'll get more into this a little bit later in the show, but I'd love to just get a quick summary of what you feel the most pressing thing you faced this weekend is. I guess as much from your own approach. Now you've got to strap it on. Now you guys have learned how hard you got to work to go do this. You got to work that much harder to go do it again. Yeah,
the most pressing thing is the proximity of the program and the people in their program versus our program. Coach Riley Jackson is basically from Orangeburg, South Carolina. His mother still lives there. His family's there. He went to high school there. He's a graduate there. I recruited him out of that community. Coach Buddy Pugh is a mentor. He's a father figure. He's a big brother figure. He's a coaching figure to us. Willie Jeffries, who I talked about already, has always been a mentor to not only myself, but Keith Jones as well. Keith Jones worked on that staff at South Carolina State in 2 different stints. My time at South Carolina State was unbelievable. We won 2 back-to-back MEAC championships. We only lost to 1 FCS team in Appalachian State the 2 years I was there. Won a national title, the HBCU national title while we were there. A lot of good memories.
Right.
On my mother's side of my family, it's 10. She's the oldest girl. Her whole family are graduates or went to South Carolina State. And of those 10 kids, all of my first cousins either went or graduated from South Carolina State. Myself, my sister, my brother, we're the lone wolves that went to other institutions. And it's real. My aunt and my uncle who was at the game, they congratulated me. And while they're congratulating me, they said, now, you know, next week, the Bulldogs from Orangeburg, we're going to kick your butt. I said, excuse me? We are going to kick your butt. So they already gave me their allegiance. So we know what we're facing, and that's going to be big.
We're going to dive into a timeout here, but before we do, I'm going to burn a precious timeout
Yes, sir.
here. But before I do burn a precious timeout, we have these 2 tickets for the game coming up this Saturday. It is a noon kick, of course, against South Carolina State at Johnson Haygood Stadium, and we got 2 tickets. Coach is going to drop a question on you, and he's going to now what if you have a flood of responses to this? How do we sort that out?
Let's see who the oldest person is if the hands go up, and we'll work down that way.
All right, question away, sir.
All right, let's see. This is our Hall of Fame weekend, and because this is Hall of Fame weekend, there is an inductee going into the Citadel Football Hall of Fame from Swansea, South Carolina. If you give us his name, you will get these 2 tickets.
All right. Well, we are going to take a break right here. This is Beyond the Barracks. I'm Brian Giffen, the radio voice at the Citadel. Maurice Drayton, the head football coach at the Citadel here. A lot of great folks here with us, too. We're live at Over the Horizon Brewing, and it's great to have everybody that is here. And if you're not here, well, why not? We'll be here every Monday just about, though, throughout football season. Back with more after this. You're listening to the Citadel Bulldogs Radio Network.
Are you ready for this? 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 Are you ready? Are you ready for this? I run the place, I run the space, I run the scene that light up your face. I run the place, I run the space, I run the scene. Run the place, run the space, I run the scene that light up your face. I run the place, I run the space, I run the scene. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this?
Dance all day and even all night. Yo, dance all day and even all night. Dance all day and even all night. Yo, dance all day and even all night. Make you go crazy, can make you start to yawn, can make you grab the microphone and turn the party on. But dance all day and even all night. I dance all day and even all night.
Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? space, I run the scene. Run the place, run the space, I run the scene that light up your face. I run the place, I run the space, I run the scene. Yo, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Yo, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this?
Dance all day and even all night. Yo, dance all day and even all night. Dance all day and even all night. Yo, dance all day and even all night. Make you go crazy, can make you start to yawn, can make you grab the microphone and turn the party on. But dance all day and even all night. I can dance all day and even all night.
Yo, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Yo, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready?
And this is, of course, presented by Cutwater Spirits. It's Hall of Fame week here at the Citadel, and Chris Cutt is joining us now. And Chris, I know it's not just an induction, it's really a week of ceremonies and celebrating the Hall of Fame.
Yes, sir. It's like a celebration of just exactly what we're trying to instill in our cadet athletes. It's just excellence, right? And these kids that come in here, their dream, their pinnacle is to reach the Citadel Hall of Fame. And so this week, being able to call the families and friends of the inductees, setting up the tables. We have a great organization, the Hall of Fame board, that spends all year long preparing for this one day, right? This is just the night of all nights. And we are expecting a little bit over 300 people. This is the 46th year we've done it. And the first year used to be in McAllister Fieldhouse. They would go to the parade, and they would announce the 6 inductees.
Right.
Then we went to the Alumni Center, and we sold out that place. And so now we're at a new venue at the Marriott, and we're going to have close to 300, 350 people, and it's just turned into an ordeal. It's a great night of past greats, present greats, and we hope to make future greats there. Yeah. So we're so excited about celebrating this class of inductees. They are just so special and so diverse. To see Olympic sports and the big 3 sports all get together and celebrate their excellence, and to see dual sport athletes. Coach Mo, I'm going to embarrass him here a little bit, but he was a triple sport athlete. He was a football player, a wrestler, and he was even part of the track team for a little bit with me. It was a great time. And to see Hillary Douglas for football and track, that's just special. His school record still stands outdoors. His indoor school record was beat by a true freshman this year, Jordan Chestnut from Spring Valley. So that was really exciting. And hearing Hillary this week, talking to him, he said he actually called Jordan the week after. And him and 2 of his teammates called to congratulate him, and just to see that bond between our brothers is just amazing, and our sisters.
Honestly, it's a big honor that, along with Lee Glaze, who in his own right is a Hall of Famer, along with him, though, we've been invited to participate in these ceremonies, and we're honored to be able to do that, and I'm really looking forward to it.
It's going to be so much fun. We still have some seats available. They can go on the website and purchase a ticket if they'd like to. Last year, we gave a check for $60,000 to the Brigadier Foundation to establish a Hall of Fame scholarship. That scholarship is now up to $260,000. And with everybody's help, we hope to get that scholarship fully endowed so that we can basically have a full scholarship athlete every single year. And each year we have a student athlete give an acceptance speech, and this year is a volleyball player and track athlete, Allie Ruffin, who was the SoCon Player of the Year in volleyball, and she was the conference champion in the women's jav and our national qualifier in the javelin during outdoor track.
Coach and I were talking about this a little bit ago, the energy from the crowd on the Citadel side in the stands this last Saturday. There's a passion. There's a real passion for Citadel athletics, and it's going to be a cool thing to be around so much royalty. You know, I hope I can dress the part. Radio guy.
I wish you could know what it was like when we found out that Coach Drayton was taking this job. The alumni have followed him since he left, and he is just like our family. He bleeds Citadel blue, and he gets people to follow. He's one of the greatest leaders I've ever had the pleasure of working with, and to see the loyalty that he has behind him. Every game you're going to see tons of fans. Even last year when it was a struggle, you still saw the stands were full. And that's because we believe in his product. His players are becoming better people, not just athletes, because of what he's done with them. He is preparing them not only to be good athletes, but he's preparing them to be professional in something other than sport.
Who are some of the guys, Coach, for you that stand out that exemplify? Obviously, all Citadel Hall of Famers are going to exemplify what it is to be a Bulldog here, but who are some guys you played with that stand out, and some of the guys over the years that even when you hear the words Citadel Hall of Fame, you immediately think of?
Well, it's so many to name, but first I need to pay Chris because, wow, that was impressive. I wish I had my wallet so I could slip you that $100 bill. Well, it's so many. I would like to start with my best friend who's no longer with us, Attorney Stanley Myers, or excuse me, I should say Judge Stanley Myers. He is what a Citadel man or woman wants to be. He did it the right way. And, I'm blessed to have been in his presence during that short period of time. We've been able to share time and space together. So he's one. The list, it goes on and on. We have a Citadel Hall of Famer on our staff, Coach
Right.
Everett Sands. He does it the right way. He comes to work every day, and he's fighting for these kids. And, our whole goal is to mold men and women for tomorrow, to make them the best version of themselves. I'm just excited to be a part of it. I believe in the product. We believe in the product, and that's why we come to work every day. I tell you, this guy has the hardest job on campus. It may be a chance. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure.
Your role and
So I
guys are on a roll, man.
love
Just
coaching, and one day I want to be an administrator. But right now, I really want to continue my coaching career a little bit longer. But I've really started to dabble a little bit in some administrative duties. So right now, I'm the military liaison between the commandant's office and the athletic department. And we truly believe that we want to excel in all three aspects of being a cadet. We want to be a good cadet in the Corps, we want to be good academically, and we want to excel on the sports field. And to do that, you really have to have good communication between the coaching staff and the commandant's department. And the commandant's department has been very good at supporting us, but at the same time, they're holding us to a standard. Yes. And over the years, the standard has gone up and down, just like anything else. It's a roller coaster. And we've had to clean some things up, and we're doing a very good job. If you look at the amount of athletes that have rank now, which means they're leaders in the Corps, they're doing an outstanding job. His team captain, JGB, is a model cadet. He does everything they ask, and on top of that, he has to take care of every kid who's making mistakes. So he has double the duty, right? Being an athletic team captain is not a popularity contest, and it's not something that every athlete wants to do, because you now get in trouble if someone else makes a mistake.
Right.
And so Coach Drayton wants to focus on X's and O's, and half the time he's trying to figure out if these kids are wearing the right uniform, if these kids are going to class, if these kids are, going to formation. And so it's a lot of work. But I feel like with us all being grads and us working together and really just focusing on the future and making sure our kids prepare for the future and do the right thing, we've come a long way.
yes.
And in the end, look, you're developing people. You're developing people to be future leaders and to be future successes, and that's the value. That's the true value in all of it.
That's the product we're trying to sell. And again, they're 18 to 22-year-old kids. They're going to make mistakes. If you tell them they can't go on leave and there's a big party down the street, they are going to want to try to figure out a way to get out.
Yeah.
And if they can figure that out, they're going to. But things have tightened up a lot, and with the technology and everything else, it's gotten very difficult. You don't want to know what me and Coach Mo used to do on the weekends. There were windows that people used to jump out of. That doesn't happen anymore.
Bed sheets.
Obviously, at the Citadel, it's different, but it's different because of its uniqueness, I guess I should say, the military component and all of that. But to be honest, the way college sports has kind of become, certainly on bigger levels, it seems like a lot of times they're busy. They're as busy keeping score in courtrooms as they are on the field, and that part of it for me is a little bit sad. Just because if you love the sport and you love the game, and it always has kind of been what it is, it just kind of, I don't know, it's different.
Well, we've always held athletes to a higher standard. They
Right.
need to put on their resume that they were a student athlete
Right.
because they have to focus on time management. So is it fair that sometimes they get picked on versus the non-athletes? No, but at the end of the day, they're getting to put on that resume that they were able to do it. And we're trying to breed success. And they know that, so they utilize us to help them enforce their rules as well. So it has been a challenge, but at the same time, it's making these kids model citizens. It's preparing them for the future so they can do very well outside of sports once they graduate.
Right, and deal with some adversity, all the things that come at you that you have to sharpen your life skills in.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about. So I gotta know, and I know the answer to this, but I want to hear it anyway. How great is it to come off this great win right into this Hall of Fame week? You talk about there's already energy, there's already people fired up beginning of the season, and to get this and kind of get that behind you now and go 1-0, what an exciting week, and obviously a lot of momentum going into week 2.
The morale on campus is through the roof because of that win. We've been waiting for it, and the way that win happened even boosted the morale more. I mean, you're talking about a crosstown rival where we have gone back and forth,
Right.
and going to their house on opening game and winning at the end of the game by 1 point is what it's all about. And that energy, these old alumni and big supporters and fans, they're going to come to that dinner and just be so excited to see him, to see the couple football players getting in, and just really root everybody on to get motivated for Saturday against SC State. Hall of Fame weekend is one of the most electrifying weekends of the school year. And to have us going off of a win, getting ready to get another win, it's going to be a lot of fun.
You know, having only experienced it the one season here, and it was a tough one for a lot of reasons, but I still haven't gone, on campus and felt that energy at the beginning of the season like that with the tailgates, with all the things going on, with, Hall of Fame weekend, all of that stuff. Haven't felt that coming off a big win like this. I'm excited. We'll get down there early.
The parking lots will be full. The noon kickoff is going to be early, but there will be people out there at sunrise. They will be setting. They take so much pride in their tailgates. Basically, you're going to see people with trailers that have a deep fryer, a grill.
Right.
They have refrigerators, microwaves. I mean, it is like a contest on who can show off the most.
I was just going to say that. We tossed this idea around at a couple of partners of ours that they don't understand. I mean, tailgating is in and of itself competitive.
Absolutely.
Everybody's trying to outdo the other guy. Don't show up with that box of frozen burgers. That's not going to cut it. But you know what I mean? I think that's one of the things that adds to the cool pageantry of the game day experience.
Yes.
Considering we're a small school, we have one of the best attendances in FCS football. And when you look at our tailgating compared to other schools, it's between the marching of the cadets coming out there and the band playing. And if you just saw, we have barbecue cook-offs, we have chili cook-offs, we have all these different competitions going on out in the parking lots. And he has to win to get them out of the parking lot. Otherwise, they're going to be sitting outside watching their TVs. But it is so much fun. Yes. And the energy for recruiting, we love bringing our recruits in on football weekend because they see all that and you think, I'm at an FBS game right now.
Right, yeah. Right. It's such a unique game day experience. I had always heard that and never really experienced it until last year, and it truly is. Chris, thanks so much for coming over here and hanging out with us.
I appreciate you having on us.
Obviously, I look forward to seeing you on Friday, and,
yes,
Lee and I are gonna have some fun with this.
We're looking forward to it. It's going to be great. And I know we got to go, but the last story I want to talk about is one of the inductees, Dr. Jamel Brown. This story is so emotional and so powerful for me because he was a Prop 48 back in the day. And for those who don't know what that is, that means he was a non-qualifier. Yes. So he was not allowed to compete as a freshman and had to be a regular cadet in the band. He played the oboe, right? And so sophomore year, he becomes eligible, and he ends up becoming one of the most decorated Citadel track athletes we've ever seen. Wow. Multiple conference champion, multiple all-conference performer, ends up going to MUSC to become a doctor, gets his graduate degree in biology. I mean, you name it, he's done it. And then he married a Hall of Famer. Tasha Sanders is actually also the second female ever to get in the Hall of Fame.
Amazing.
Those kids are going to be future Hall of Famers. We're starting to recruit them right now.
Right.
Let's get them signed up.
Yeah, it's never too early. Hey, thanks again
yes,
so
sir.
much for coming over.
It was
Look
a pleasure.
Forward to seeing you on Friday.
Really enjoyed it.
Have a great weekend, and we'll certainly see you at Johnson Haygood.
Yes, sir. Go Dogs.
All right.
All right.
That was
well,
awesome.
Coach, we will step out for a moment here, and we'll come back, and you and I will look a little bit ahead at South Carolina State. Now, that game, of course, is early. It's a noon kickoff at Johnson Haygood as the Bulldogs host the other Bulldogs. From up the road in Orangeburg, Citadel taking on South Carolina State, and that is a noon kick on Saturday. We'll be on the air with pregame coverage on radio at 11, and obviously we're fired up for it. Let's go out there and go 2-0.
Sounds great.
All right, back to dissect a little bit and look ahead at that one on the other side of this timeout. You're listening to Beyond the Barracks on the Citadel Bulldogs Radio Network.
Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this? I run the place, I run the space, I run the scene that light up your face. I run the place, I run the space, I run the scene. Run the place, run the space, I run the scene that light up your face. I run the place, I run the space, I run the scene. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this?
Dance all day and even all night. Yo, dance all day and even all night. Dance all day and even all night. Yo, dance all day and even all night. Make you go crazy, can make you start to yawn, can make you grab the microphone and turn the party on. But dance all day and even all night. I dance all day and even all night.
Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this? I run the place, I run the space, I run the scene that light up your face. I run the place, I run the space, I run the scene. Run the place, run the space, I run the scene that light up your face. I run the place, I run the space, I run the scene. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this?
Dance all day and even all night. Yo, dance all day and even all night. Dance all day and even all night. Yo, dance all day and even all night. Make you go crazy, can make you start to yawn, can make you grab the microphone and turn the party on. But dance all day and even all night. I dance all day and even all night.
Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready?
We're going to talk about that game a little bit more, Coach, but you had that trivia question about the Hall of Fame this year that you have the 2 tickets for, and let's go a little further with that.
Yes, the question was, which Hall of Famer that's
Being
being
inducted
this year was from Swansea, South Carolina. We had a gentleman to your left, my left, who answered the question correctly. It's Mr. Stanley Myers, class of 1998, Charlie Company.
Fantastic. There you are.
Greg Rollins, class of 84.
Thank you.
I played golf with him.
Yes, sir. All right.
See, you could be having this much fun with us if you just get out here on Mondays, man. We're going to do this every week, and I think the longer we keep it, maybe that's one difference, Coach. Maybe you're 1-0 because we started doing this at Over the Horizon Brewing.
There we go. I think that's it.
You know, I've got a whole lot of questions and very few answers, but let's just go with that. Well, let's talk a little bit about South Carolina State. We talked both on and off air, and we both know they're a really, really athletic group, very talented group. And what are your thoughts on them as you look at this year's version on tape?
Yes, very talented group. Their head coach, Chinnis Berry, he's in his first year at South Carolina State. The previous 3 seasons, he was the head coach at Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina, where he went 27-7, making the playoffs his last 2 seasons there, going undefeated in his league. He's a very, very good coach. He has never had a losing record as a head coach or as an assistant. This guy knows how to win. It's going to be a tough task for us. He has a great coaching staff, too. I want to talk about a young man, the running back coach, Rashad Alston. He's from Goose Creek, South Carolina. He actually worked for my special teams coordinator, Coach Tony Coaxum, when he was the head coach at Bluefield State. So there's ties there with Rashad. Rashad's a good young coach. Also, David Blanchard, their defensive line coach. Once David Blanchard graduated from college, he coached at South Carolina State. That defensive line, I tell you, they are something to be reckoned with. Our offensive line, we're going to have a tall task. So David Blanchard does a great job. And then this guy, their strength coach, David Irby. When I was at South Carolina State coaching, he was a linebacker for us. The hardest hit I've ever seen in person was by David Irby on a crossing pattern. And let me tell you something, he lives his life that way. He trains those guys that way. We're in for a tough task. Offensively, 6 of the 11 starters are transfers. Defensively, they're very sound in all their schemes. They pursue to the ball. They have a relentless pursuit. It's going to be a really good game. And in special teams, they have speed for days. Their return men are very dangerous. I tell this joke all the time, but I'm telling the truth. They are so fast. They can turn out the light and get underneath the sheets in their bed before it gets dark.
That's quick.
Yeah, that's fast.
That's like 186,000 miles an hour or something. I remember that from class for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But we just have a minute or two here. Obviously, you look every week to go in and deal with those things that don't take talent, that just take this. So that part is a given. If there's one particular thing you have to do well against these guys, very athletic group, as you talked about, what's the biggest key for you in about a minute and a half's time here?
Well, it's really easy, and it always starts with the ball. The ball is life. I know you talked about between the ears, but ball security and ball extraction, that's where it starts. If you can govern the ball, keep the ball, have the ball, and extract the ball, you'll have a chance to win. We tell our offense all the time, we want to end each drive with a kick. And what do I mean by that? A PAT, a field goal, or even a punt. Punting is not a bad thing because if we punt, we're going to gain 40 to 45 yards of field position versus a turnover. So it all starts right there.
Well, obviously, it's been a great week around here, and it's really just the beginning. And like we talked about earlier, you know, it's sort of a little hill, a mountain that you get over, but then you just realize that there's just that much more work to be done to keep tasting that every week. Hopefully it gets addictive and everybody comes together, and that's what happens.
Absolutely. That's the plan. That has always been the plan. We're going to close ranks, keep marching, and work at it every single chance we get.
Well, we're looking forward to the game. Obviously, again, it is the Citadel hosting South Carolina State. It's Hall of Fame weekend. Johnson Haygood Stadium kickoff is at noon, and we're on the air with pregame coverage over the radio network at 11. Coach, thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Good time
Appreciate
as always.
It. It's
and
great time.
We'll visit as the week goes on.
Yes, sir.
That'll about do it. I want to say thanks to our friends here at Over the Horizon Brewing who have hosted us here again. Also, thanks to all of you that have been out here that have participated. Give yourselves a hand, man. It's a lively place. We love having you here. Yeah. And we can have this much fun every week, Coach. Let's go 2-0.
Let's do it.
All right. And a presentation of Cutwater Spirits. I'm Brian Giffen with Coach Drayton, and we will talk to you Saturday, everybody. Go Dogs.